Okay, thank you for taking your time. I think it's just gonna be, a quick 30 minutes call. Oh, I just had a patient working right up against the last second.
Oh,
Oh, that
That's why
happens.
I know I'm just on my room table.
Well, you're a popular person, so that's to be expected.
God, Ken.
That's
Mm,
the cost of success.
mhm.
okay, great. Well, so today we're gathering, we're gonna talk about the current topic, which is what's going on in the world. Um, you know, look forward to hearing your contribution about the needling, dry needling, needling in general. Three of us are all acupuncturists in our community. We have heated discussion these days about who should needle, what type of training and all that. And then we talk, would love to just quickly talk about first of all, why needling is so effective. Second of all, what we think our role is, especially in the United States, what our role is immediately in this next few years. And then in general, the future of our profession, not just in China, but also in the US and in the world. Brainstorm and whatever idea that you have is welcome. Just really free flow session. Just talk about whatever you feel like talking about. So Ken, go.
Dr.
Yeah.
Wong, thanks so much for having me. Yeah, so dry needling right now is a hot topic. They have seen it going on for years and they have seen the effect of it. And so a good acupuncturist makes it look easy, but it takes years of study, years of understanding, years of theory. But they only see the needlework. So they are trying to co-opt it, but they are not getting the safety of it or even the great results that we get because they don't respect the theory. And it's been shown now to cause a danger, as shown by TJ Watt, the football player.
So yeah, as we are leading to topic of TJ Watt and the dry needling incident recently, lot of the state association have officially responded to the incident. The most recent one, if you probably saw, the Pennsylvania Acupuncture Association had a formal letter sent out, and I think they did a really good job um, explaining the current situation. And if you guys want to keep talking, I'm gonna look that up and then just walk you through what their official response is. Really, I was pretty impressed with that one. And yeah, go.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Dr. Shay, you have anything to say about that, about dry needling?
Dry needling is
Yes,
one of the modality of acupuncture. It's not a different modality, right? So
that's right.
they require enough education. It's not just simple needling in and then take out the needle out. That's simple. Even if it looks simple, the dry needling, but require a lot of training. There's science behind it. That's the profound knowledge behind. The sophistication is a simplicity, but this simplicity is complicated. As simplicity is not just very simple. They think that anybody can do it. It's not. They require education. Yeah.
Right.
So, mm,
As I was telling some of my new patients, or my old patients, I was saying, any person who's really good at something makes it look easy. Like when you see a piano player and you see them play the piano, you say, "Oh, that's not
but
difficult." And then you try to play the piano, or you see what happens. Or
exactly.
or
That's
someone
right.
juggling knives and knives and bowling balls and everything else, and
Mhm.
you say, "Oh, that's so easy." Or someone walking a tightrope. You see
Mhm.
them do it, and it looks so easy. So then
Mhm.
people think, "Oh, I can do that," and that's the whole thing, right?
Mhm.
You just can't go into it and put needles in someone and call it acupuncture or rename it as dry
Renaming
needling.
it dry needling.
It's not. It's not even close to the same level.
The thing is, but they confuse a lot of people. They don't know. They thought the needle, they thought the same needle, they thought the acupuncture. You know what I mean? Yeah. Cause a lot of
Hmm.
damage.
It's a lot of damage. It confuses the people.
Hmm.
And but PTs are really good, or anyone else, they're good at marketing for their profession. And that's
Hmm.
all they're doing. For them, they don't respect the art of it or the process. It's a
Hmm.
billable code. So they
Hmm.
can add on the same way they add on hot water therapy or they add on stretching. They can
Hot
add
water
on some needles too.
Mm.
Here's my needling and dry needling.
Yeah.
Pay me
That's right.
150. And
Yeah.
add that onto some other codes. So that's the problem we're having in it.
Hmm.
And when I think about how much force to get a pneumothorax is not that easy. And this is a football player. So they're very tough, very thick pleural layer. You have to be very strong, have to do some very bad technique to get a to get a football player. This guy's he's very thick. You have to
That's
use,
right.
I mean, what are you doing to get that to even happen? The
Hmm.
size of needles you have to use, the gauge, the thickness, the technique. I mean, that was horrendous.
Okay.
That's not easy at all.
That's
Yeah,
right.
I'm still not finding there it is, the formal response from the uh Pennsylvania House of Representatives that the Pennsylvania Association sent um, covered quite a few area of dry needling. One
Oh,
topic number one is that needle-based therapy is effective. It requires extensive training to practice safely. So that's number one. Really, we agree that needle-based therapy is effective. That's the profession we are in. And because we have had thousands of years of heritage in this profession, practicing needle-based therapy. The brilliance to me, the needle-based therapy, I'm just talking on top of what they're rating. I would follow through a couple more points that they talk about is, point number one, needle-based practice is very effective. And our profession has been doing that for thousands of years. And it's really a brilliant system if you think about it, because we cannot see from outside what's going on inside the body. So the Chinese invented this methodology that based on channels and meridians that if I may describe like we always use nature to describe our bodies because the medicine was developed through observing natures. And we notice there are mountains, there are rivers, there are swamps and trees and malls, everything in our human body, just like in nature. So through needling, we are able to access the inside from the outside. Is a brilliant system. And cupping, very similar too. Like we're able to create a vacuum on the skin so that blood from deep down from the bone level and deeper comes out to the surface and to nourish the field along the way in the motions of cupping. So it's a brilliant system. I don't know if there's another medicine in the world is as documented as comprehensive as this one. So that's my comment, and feel free to comment on that.
well, what I feel is with the medicine, like you say, a lot of thoughts were gotten from nature and they were gotten from observations. And today we can find out that a lot of things they found out in Chinese medicine it's taken them almost 1,000 years to find out in Western medicine these same things occur. Like they just found brain cells in the neurons in the stomach. In Chinese medicine, they've always said the stomach involves thinking. So they've always known that. And there are a lot of other similarities that they're finding on MRIs and fMRIs that Chinese medicine has known for over 1,000 years. So we're kind of like waiting for Western medicine to catch up to validate a lot of theories that are already going on in Chinese medicine. And that's why it's not appreciated. They say, oh, well, that's just folk tale. But a lot of folk tales have turned out to be true. Almost the majority of them in Chinese medicine have turned out to be true.
Lymphatic system, nervous system, we're all waiting to be caught up.
Yeah, the hormone system with the Sanjiao, the triple burner.
Triple burner, yes.
Yes, all those things were things that were concepts for over 1,000 years in Chinese medicine, which are
Mm.
finally catching up in the last 50 years. Maybe I say last 20 years in
Less than
Western
that.
medicine.
Yeah, less.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
And also Chinese medicine is thousands of years time tested and thousands of live human body tested. It's not animal tested. It's not the lab tested. It's live human lives tested.
That is so true.
It's a great
Mhm.
brand. Thousands of years brand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. So their point number two is dry needling is a limited form of acupuncture viewed through a Western medical lenses. Lens. Let me just say that again. Dry needling is a limited form of acupuncture through a Western medical lens. So that goes back to Ken, what you were just talking about, at the beginning.
Hmm.
So dry needling is best understood as segment of acupuncture applied using Western biomedical theory, primarily targeting myofascia trigger points, other than utilizing the traditional diagnostic framework and theories. Yeah.
I always tell people, I say dry needling is not a different form of acupuncture. It's just rebranding. They just put a different name on it. But of course,
Exactly.
acupuncture has been used for muscles and myofascial release for the. You think we put needles in and then it work on muscles for the last 1,000 years? That's ludicrous to think that.
The renaming the dry needling. Actually,
It,
it's
it
one
just
of the technique of acupuncture. Yeah, they confuse a lot of people. Yeah.
they do. I just had someone could give me a call about dry needling the other day. They wanted to come in for
I know,
dry
me
needling.
too. I got one call. Do you do dry needling? I said dry needling is one method of acupuncture. I don't need acupuncture. I need dry needling. Then
I myself even hesitate to say a dry needling is a method of
mm,
acupuncture.
one method.
Very small
Yeah.
piece of it. Yes.
Yeah, I know. So they say the distinction matters because it is the needle itself that creates the risk, not the theory behind the needle usage. Therefore, all acupuncture-based needle therapies should fall under the same regulation for safe practice. And I don't
Mm.
know what the PT's safe needle, clean needle trainings involve. So I can't speak to that. So I know the last PT that I know who came out of dry needling training, I think they probably had a 1 week training and that was it. That's what I
That,
know.
that that
Well,
sounds
it
about right
was
to me.
57 hours.
That
Something
makes sense. That's
people.
about a week. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, I so this goes to another topic that, again, three of us are just friends. We're not representing anybody. We're just talking about this topic as acupuncture professionals. Uh,
Mhm.
so the needle itself and the understanding of acupuncture especially in America, I realize that has turned into a one-word description of our profession. That's what I'm a little nervous right now. At the beginning, when acupuncture was first popular in this country during the AIDS pandemic, if I'm correct, the medicine was introduced because during the AIDS pandemic, sorry, the AIDS what do you call it, epidemic.
Mm-hmm.
So during the AIDS era, acupuncture together with herbal medicine, I think herbal medicine played a huge role during the AIDS era. And so the medicine was introduced as complete and more complete than how America understands it today. Whereas throughout time, the last, let's say, 60, 70 years has reduced this medicine to an understanding of doing acupuncture. That's kind of my feeling of it, and which I'm not quite happy about at the moment.
Yeah, I know acupuncture even started even earlier than that in the U.S. actually. Not, not getting as popular, but I do know what Richard Nixon, one of the presidents of the United States, he went to China,
71.
Yes,
and
that's right.
that's
In
right.
1972.
In
My
72.
Yes.
And he was
my friend's mother was on the ping pong team on the bus when
Oh,
when the American journalists went to the wrong bus, ended up in the wrong bus, and this whole
oh wow.
started. Yeah,
hmm
my high school classmate, his mother was the ping pong player on the team. So this whole story has been told to me in so many different versions in different ways. But
Oh,
that's why I remember is 1971 so clearly.
hmm Yeah, there was another time we got exposed really big in the black community with the Black Panthers. They
oh,
were they were a group of people who wanted to kind of work on just, being self-sufficient. And during they had an epidemic of drugs. And so there was a close connection between the blacks and between the Chinese. And they asked them, is there any medicine you can do to help with these addictions? And so they were taught auricular therapy, which is even still being used today in Philadelphia.
mm,
They still have the centers where they use that for addictions
mm,
only alone.
I see. But
Yep.
acupuncture came to the United States, that's the 18, 1980s, the 1980s from
It's
old China.
official, yeah.
Mm. But at that time, it was illegal. Until 1972, Nixon with China, then become legalized. Become
Mm,
legal, you know. But even if it become legal, but the insurance not cover, but it's legalized. That's so important.
Yeah.
Before it was illegal.
Getting the
hmm
facts straight, July 1971, Nixon visit, and then move, yeah. So let's see, in 19, what happened?
They have a report, the newspaper, they have a report about Nixon visit China. Then since then,
Yeah,
occupy
1972. Yeah,
1972.
1972. He announced in 19, announcement came out in 1971.
Yeah, then acupuncture.
So the ping pong, here's the thing. The ping pong diplomacy did happen in April 1971. I know I remember this because the
hmm
ping pong diplomacy was the in Chinese we call it the 导火索, or
Mm,
the leading to the Nixon visit in
mm,
1970,
I see.
1972.
Yeah,
So
that's right.
it's the beginning of the start of the whole thing.
Mm,
So, but during that time, like Dr. Cho was saying, it took some time to be legalized, but it was pretty fast. The process
mm,
seems to be
mm.
happening pretty fast.
Yeah, because Nixon visited China, that's so important. So Nixon's big contribution, one of his big contribution, legalize acupuncture.
As controversial a president that he is in this country, that was one contribution that our medicine,
Mm,
thanks. say thanks to. So again, when the medicine was introduced, it was pretty complete. A lot of acupuncturists, a lot of medicine, Chinese medicine practitioners today argue that even back in 1971, it was already stripped down version of the traditional medicine because the communist revolution happened in the 40s, and then how the medicine in China has evolved and being more closer to biomedicine type of practice, blah, blah, blah. But still, at least herbal medicine, that's the aspect that I was really referring to that is largely missing today, the recognition of the herbal medicine.
Yes, I mean it's the whole part, right? I mean, it's the but to understand the medicine, understand the theory, you have to understand like the people and the culture. I mean, because it's steeped in the culture, right? There are some
Yeah.
things like the words you use and phrases you use
Mm.
that just Western minds just won't understand it. Like, disperse the wind. What does that mean to someone? That's not everyday words. Drain heat. Move your chi. You have to understand the whole system of language of what's going on. And it took me, quite a while and a lot of, extra reading and a lot of extra studies to get
Yeah.
to that process.
Drain dampness, I was just in the clinic today and copying someone, there's all water coming out,
Mm-hmm.
you know, um, cupping itself is another important aspect of medicine. Tuina, gua sha, uh, other aspect, somatic movement. Today we're just in the West. People are just starting to understand somatic movement together with psychiatric treatment is more effective. We've been practicing somatic movement coupled with uh, medical practice for thousands of years. I said, well,
Mm-hmm.
with mental health,
Yeah.
It's not a
mental health.
placebo. Yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Yeah, that's a thousands of years.
Is the mental and the bodily physical practice
Mm.
together has always been the core of this medicine, but now the minute the West start talking about this somatic coupled with the mental health service saying it come out as if it's a new concept, everybody, profit, non-profit organizations are talking about it, you know, uh,
Mm.
every
Yeah, some Westerners say that's the placebo. It's not the placebo. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's the real, not the placebo.
that's it.
Mm.
And
Yeah. I think a lot of it's just rebranding for the Western consumer. They take everything they can get and they strip it down and
well,
try to make it more palatable
I
for
know.
them.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Again, we're talking about in the West, there has been a decline of digestive capacity. I think people mentally, physically cannot digest complex.
Hmm.
I have a
Yeah.
difficult time digesting complex concept and food now.
Well, with their diet, they got phlegm mist in the mind, right? They got phlegm mist in the mind, they got fire rising in the mind, they have mania. So all those things are a concept they have going on and we're toxic, you know?
Without going into too much about politics and
Hmm.
all the stuff happening in our politics, the extremism and not much in betweenness, like is like in our tradition, we have just like you said, Ken, we've been talking about it for a long time. That if we really can digest physically, we can digest mentally, because these two has always been connected. So point number three, there that the Pennsylvania Association was talking about is that acupuncture training is a gold standard for needle safety. And they talk about the extensive anatomy, physiology training, the didactic hours and the depth of needling training and the clean needle technique, the 600 some hours of supervised clinic hours and three national board exams and all that, right? So
Hmm.
as much this sounds like the traditional practitioners had to do a lot more than this, and ask Dr. Che.
Yeah, that's
Hmm.
right. Mm.
I
It
mean,
require a lot of time, a lot of reading, a lot of practice. It's even if you read the book, read the classics, but you cannot understand. Not just language issue and also the practice. You got one terminology, you have to, practice, then you understand.
That's what I always say. People ask me, "Oh, how much does it take to become acupuncturist and a Chinese medicine practitioner in the United States?" And before I say anything else, I would say what's required here in the United States is pretty minimum to our gold standard in the past of becoming a practitioner. Because in the old days, even not that long time ago in China, the practitioners are required to, just like Dr. Che says, not only doing all these basic point location, which is really a lot of our education here, and and herbal theories and all that, but still is like beyond that is the reading of the classics and rereading of the classics and debate of the classics and practice. Like, do how many of us still today have a practice, whether that be meditation or tai chi or any practice at all, that used to be required by the profession in the past.
I think those are
Right.
all good things. And plus mentorship. I mean, when you get in the West,
Mentorship.
student
Yes.
life is so different that, when you go to practice, you're on your own. Like you said, you need people to talk to and discuss things with. But how many practices go in and they're by themselves? They talk to no one. So many acupuncturists don't even get acupuncture. I know acupuncturists who don't even get needles for years.
That's it. They don't get to touch needles for
And they
years.
don't do anything related to it. So yeah, it's in a dangerous state right now with acupuncturists, with insurance reimbursements, Dr. Shea was talking about, and
Yes.
Dr. Wong was discussing, with all the theory and making sure we do everything. I mean, how many people don't drain damp? If you do acupuncture, you don't do any cupping or do the modalities or do, the mental talks to them, then how will they function better? It'll be just a quarter of the system, or just an eighth of the system.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Mm.
So, so that that really comes to another point I want to discuss, is that really what do we want to be as a profession? Um, in my opinion, we need to be a Qi practitioner, practitioner of Qi. We're not practitioner of needle, we're not needle technician.
That's
So
right. Well, now need a practice technician. Yeah,
yes, so the practice of Qi takes a long period of time and years of practice and seeking on your own and looking for teachers. And in Chinese we call it 拜师. you gotta
true.
you gotta seek your teachers and follow the teacher for years and years and develop these really, our intelligence of the hand, which is the most classic intelligence we have in our body, and what our profession is relying on, the qi and these sensories. So
That's right.
Yeah, you got to be hands on. And
Hands
I,
on.
I
That's
don't know
right.
if you want to record this part, but you're
mhm.
not seeing different doctors practice acupuncture. You're seeing just your student who's 1 year ahead of you do acupuncture, which
Well,
is really a disservice. I mean, because
the
most you never see anyone ever do it.
the required internship is so limited. Even you do follow a teacher, is so limited. And again, in our profession, we, in order to be good, we really have to invest a lot of time doing our own practice and our own learning. And so point number 4 in the Pennsylvania Association's response is patient safety requires consistent, high-level training standard. So again, I don't understand the PT's training standard, but available evidence suggests that serious complicated this complications, serious complications disproportionately occur when needle therapy is performed by clinicians without comprehensive acupuncture level training, particularly in high risk regions. Well, but anyhow, so without going into too much in depth, but patient safety.
No,
And
that's really important because I wouldn't trust someone with a weekend training to change my tires on my car. How are you going to trust someone with a weekend of training to, to stick needles in your body if you wouldn't trust them to change your car tires or change your oil
Exactly.
or
That's
fix your
right.
refrigerator?
Mm,
That's insane.
yeah. So the future of our profession really, in my opinion, is at stake. Um, just like Dr. Chen is always talking about, we don't want to be reducing our profession down to just needling technician, because that anybody can do.
that's right. And also, even if AI come out, yeah, AI cannot replace our profession because the Chinese medicine basically is the medicine of qi. So AI doesn't have qi. They can have a point. They can have the qi. You know what I mean? So the qi cultivation. Every practitioner is supposed to do the qi cultivation. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, even you say, but I mean, I thought about that often when if an AI robot can do point locations, for example.
Hmm.
But still, in
Mhm.
our point location description, like say 2 寸 down below here in the empty space. Okay, even though maybe AI robot's hand can be so sensitive at one point you can find the empty space, but still, how do you know the qi? How do you know the qi arrival?
Exactly. That's right. So that's why our profession has a bright future because the highest level, they need require highest cultivation. Our body should resonate with the universe. I mean, resonate.
Yeah,
Mm,
right.
the top practitioner.
Right. And the profession that we're in really, I don't think about from a crisis avoidance or perspective. If we talk about how we can practice a medicine that give humanity the maximum benefit, we have to practice our qi. We have to surround our medicine around qi cultivation, qi practice.
That's
Uh,
right.
yeah, in order to
So Qi practitioner, I remember my master told me anybody can be a millionaire. For example, you go to the stock market, you buy stock, right? But Qi practitioner not overnight, requires day and night. Not day and sorry, require long time cultivation.
Yes.
You know, it's not overnight. You can cultivate qi, you know what I mean? Become a millionaire, but not the qi cultivation. It requires years hard work.
it's just like being a master artist. It doesn't come overnight. It's a craftsmanship. It's just like the Gaoku, carving, uh,
Mhm.
Hmm.
that whole environment has been cultivated for years, in order to produce a effect that you actually, just like any singer artist, when you see a piece of artwork or a song, composer's product of a song or a piece of music, and the chi is in it, is in the life behind the piece, that without it you wouldn't be moved. Just very simple, just your chi would not move if you are not touched by chi. So
Mhm.
our livelihood would not, be improved or disease cured without the movement of uh, of qi and
Mhm.
healthy cultivation of qi. We got
Exactly.
two more some minutes, and
Yeah. You
anybody
want to go
want
into summarize then?
anybody want to have some um, last words as your qi arrives?
Well, since today was on dry needling, I hope we can we can come together with this as a rallying point to remind acupuncturists how important it is to teach others about the dangers of being acupuncture done in the wrong hands, so we can keep the profession alive and keep people healthy and safe.
Yeah.
Exactly. We need to keep people healthy and safe. That's right. Because dry needling definitely lack enough training. The training is not enough. It's not just a little bit, it's like a lot of training. You know what I mean? Yeah. So in the history, acupuncture is how many years? Thousands of years. How about just a few, limited hours you can practice on human body? You don't want to take any chance, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And our profession has a bright future, and we want to continue to really go back to the root. And
Mm,
that's what I want to say. Just keep going back to the root. Just like helping patients with issues, and we go back to the root cause. And as long as we don't forget about going back to the basics.
Now for the patient, dry needling is definitely lack of enough training. So you don't want to go somebody lack of training to let it become a sample.
That's
I
right.
mean, yeah.